we've been doing this. And as a former chief operations officer, it makes me happy to be leaning in and going through those budgets to find where we can be more strategic, where we can be smarter to continue delivering those core services and doing it in a way where we're even better stewards. So I'll give you a few examples. And I want to add a thank you to the hundreds of people who came to the budget town halls across Harris County, to the hundreds of people who took the budget surveys, and to the thousands of people since I took office who have come to our town halls, community meetings, and who have shown up and have shared very clearly that they expect county government to deliver what I call the non-negotiables: public safety, public infrastructure, and public health. And within the infrastructure, not only the roads and sidewalks and parks, but it's also making sure that our roads are safer. It's making sure that Harris County is more resilient and prepared for the next storm, and that we're even more prepared to respond to the next storm. So how have we been closing the deficit? There's numerous ways, and I would like to add as well, nothing is final until the final vote is cast. This is highly iterative, and this is a work in progress. But I want to point out some of the key ways. One is vacancy savings. We have hundreds of vacancies that have been unfilled. Many of them have been open, some for 60 days, some for 90 days, some for over 6 months. The work has continued, and these positions have not had to be filled. That is one way. Another proposed option is a thoughtful, targeted hiring freeze, sourcing contracts. Another way we are closing the gap is by looking at the purchase of technology across the county as well as software licenses. By streamlining that, we're able to get better pricing, volume discounts. We all know that as consumers here, as well as fleet maintenance, making sure that we're being as strategic in the purchase of the vehicles across the county. Those are some of the key ways we are finding the smart strategic savings, in addition to checking and ensuring that we're using the right revenue source for the related expenses. I'll give you an example. Harris County is in charge of going to inspect restaurants for permits. And so to make sure there's fees associated with that. So making sure the people who are doing the work are being paid out of that fund. So looking at different funds and again, connecting the cost with the revenue source. So these are some of the ways that we are looking for those savings. The bottom line is that the people of Harris County have given us the opportunity to serve. And as a public servant, and as a mom, and as a taxpayer, I believe we have to roll up our sleeves and do the hard work. And the lawyer and former judge in me is laser focused on the facts. Where can we find those savings? You might have heard that we asked all departments to propose potential 10% strategic savings. Sometimes it's cuts, sometimes it's just a change in office supplies, etc. These are not automatic. These are not across the board. We are, again, laser focused on delving in and seeing what makes sense. Lastly, another way we've been able to close the deficit is some of these departments have had year-over-year historic surpluses. We are right-sizing the budget. Again, as someone, I take this very personally, not only as one of your elected officials, but as somebody I remember vividly growing up check to check. And you have to live within your means and do the best you can to deliver all that you can in the most smart, strategic way that preserves our stewardship. And what I am fighting for and what will be non-negotiable, we are on first for public health, whether that's the vaccinations that we offer our community, the community mobile clinics, the dental clinics, diabetes prevention, the education, non-negotiable. In terms of infrastructure, again, the county The 4 precincts, we're on first for taking care of 6,000 miles of road, making sure we're filling your potholes, cleaning your ditches, making sure that those ditches can take the water during the next storm to protect you and your families. We are on first for making sure your parks are mowed and clean and that the trash is picked up. We are on first when you have those 2-lane country roads and now representing one of the fastest growing areas of the country, whether it's an intersection safety improvement, upgrading a light, putting warning systems. Infrastructure is one of those non-negotiables. And I have a heavy heart today because today's the anniversary of Harvey. So you deserve that we are prepared to respond to the next storm. And that meanwhile, not just in terms of being nimble and responsive to pick up your debris, to start that cooling center, to offer food, water, and supplies, but also that we're investing in the resiliency of this region. Those are non-negotiables. And lastly, public safety. You have heard that I am deeply committed to pay parity for our law enforcement officers. To me, this is a non-negotiable because public safety is my top priority as a mom of 3 little girls and as someone who's been the victim of crime several times. And to me, it is non-negotiable that we take decisive action. We already had hundreds of vacancies that we were struggling to fill, to recruit and retain the talent. And when HPD raises salaries 36.5% over the next 5 years, and this spring, they had approximately 1,200 vacancies. I don't blame the hardworking men and women risking their lives for us if they can make more for their families to go work for HPD. Not on our watch. Because when people in the unincorporated part of Harris County call 911, they deserve someone to show up and to show up as quickly as possible. So I am committed to not only honoring the service and sacrifice of our hardworking individuals at our sheriff's office and our 8 constables' office, but also making sure, and this comes from a chief talent officer, we need to recruit and retain the talent so that we can deliver the safety to the residents. So in sum, we will keep fighting for the non-negotiables: public safety, public infrastructure, public health and disaster readiness, response, and resilience. And we will pass a balanced budget, and we will do it by doing the hard work. And so with that, I wanted to say thank you, not only to Daniel Ramos, our budget director, but to all the departments, and especially to my team, who have spent thousands of hours. In particular, I want to thank 2 people, my wonderful Deputy Chief of Staff and Chief Financial Officer, Jamal Smith, and our Chief of Policy and Innovation, Ann Sung. And I have a very brief version of this in Spanish, and then I'll answer questions. Buenos días a todos. Soy Lesley Briones. Soy su comisionada del Condado Jerez de Precinto 4. Mi posición es clara. Vamos a aprobar un presupuesto equilibrado que dé importancia a la seguridad pública, que proteja los servicios fundamentales y evite cargas extras para la comunidad. Yo crecí cheque a cheque. Y yo busco no subir los impuestos a las personas que trabajan tanto. Voy a darles unos ejemplos de cómo podemos reducir el déficit. Ahorros en puestos vacantes, no contratar por un tiempo, reducir la gestión de terceros de las cárceles, mejorar la tecnología y la compra y uso de los vehículos, usar mejores fuentes de fondos o ingresos. También quiero explicar a la comunidad por qué estamos trabajando por un salario justo para las fuerzas del orden. Primero, yo quiero honrar su servicio y su sacrificio. Y también la verdad es que tenemos problemas para contratar y retener a los agentes. Y las fuerzas del orden son necesarios. No podemos perderlas. Y tenemos que estar a la par de la policía de Houston. La policía de Houston y el alcalde Whitmire subieron los salarios un 36.5% en 5 años. Tenemos que hacer lo mismo con nuestros agentes de la ley. Sus prioridades son las mías y estoy luchando por ellas. En las asambleas públicas sobre el presupuesto, la gente quiere que usemos el dinero para seguridad y salud pública, infraestructura duradera y preparación ante desastres y también responder después de los desastres. Esto incluye programas como HART, servicios de salud móviles y control de inundaciones. Y hoy estamos en el aniversario de 8 años del huracán Harvey y todos recordemos el horror que sufrimos en esta comunidad. Pero estamos aquí juntos para resolver problemas y para tener un presupuesto justo, balanceado y eficiente para el bien del condado Jerez. Estoy lista de colaborar con cualquier miembro de la Corte que tenga soluciones reales basadas en datos. Y yo voy a estar luchando para proteger nuestros fondos para los servicios fundamentales. Estos incluyen la seguridad pública, la salud pública, infraestructura y también la respuesta a desastres, banquetas, calles, parques y más. Eso es porque yo estoy aquí para servirles y tenemos que tener la confianza en el condado y, bueno, todos niveles del gobierno. Y más que nada, no solamente como su comisionada, pero como mamá de 3 hijas y como alguien que vive aquí, esta es mi casa. Y juntos podemos resolver cualquier cosa si estamos enfocados en el trabajo y los datos. Así que estoy aquí para servirle, and now I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. So it will be balanced, period, because I will take it no other way. It must be balanced and will be balanced. The reason the numbers are changing is because, again, this is a highly iterative process, working with the 70 plus departments on what is most strategic and prudent so that we're preserving all fundamental services while making these strategic savings. So that's why the number has been going down. I'm happy to walk through some of it. Ultimately, we had more revenue than expected. Ultimately, to achieve law enforcement pay parity costs less than the initial projections. And as we continue to delve, and again, some of this is not sexy, trying to be like, hey, no more landlines. Let's put this on our web contract for phones. But that's the hard work that it keeps going down. So it's been going down, and we will be talking about more ideas today at today's Commissioners Court meeting. But it is at approximately 48. And then we've identified additional savings, for example, a very targeted, thoughtful hiring freeze, which will continue bringing that down. But I will not stop, and my team will not stop until there is no deficit, because we must pass a structurally sound budget. Thank you. Thank you. Muchísimas gracias.